still going for the Chiefs. It's tough for me to go, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, just go to the game and just be in this environment and not playing in it.
That was Tyreek Hill talking about Kansas City, and now the unthinkable just happened. The cheetah is officially heading back to the Chiefs, reuniting with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. After everything that went down, how did this deal even come together? The cheetah's rise and the trade that shocked the NFL. Tyreek Hill, the man they call the cheetah, the fastest player most people have ever seen on a football field, is on the verge of doing something that a whole lot of people thought would never, ever happen. He's about to go back to where it all started, back to Kansas City, back to Patrick Mahomes, back to Travis Kelce, back to the place where he became a legend. But before we get into how this reunion is coming together and what it could mean for the entire NFL, we need to go back to the beginning. Because to understand why this moment is so significant, you have to understand where Tyreek Hill came from, what he went through, and the journey that brought him to this point. Tyreek Hill was born on March 1st, 1994, in Pearson, Georgia, a small town where opportunities were few and far between. His parents, Anisha Sanchez and Derek Shaw, were both athletes who played basketball and ran track, and that athletic DNA clearly passed down to their son. But Hill's childhood was far from easy. He was raised primarily by his grandparents, Virginia and Herman Hill, in nearby Douglas, Georgia, and the family dealt with serious financial hardships. His grandfather had multiple prison stints, and during Hill's senior year of high school, the family reportedly had no electricity in their home. That kind of struggle either breaks you or it lights a fire inside you, and for Tyreek Hill, it lit an inferno. At Coffee High School, Hill didn't just play football, he dominated in track and field too, winning the 100-meter and 200-meter dashes at the 2012 Georgia 5A state meet with times of 10.19 and 20.14 seconds, earning him USA Today All-American honors in track. The kid was fast, like absurdly, ridiculously, almost unfairly fast. At a Nike Spark camp, he ran a 4.25-second 40-yard dash, and that's when the nickname Cheetah was born. His college career took him through Garden City Community College in Kansas, where he played both football and track. As a sophomore in 2013, he rushed for 659 yards and 5 touchdowns while catching 32 passes for 532 yards, ranking 11th nationally in all-purpose yards per game. He even improved his 100-meter personal record to 9.98 seconds. Then he transferred to Oklahoma State, where he had a monster season in 2014, putting up 1,811 all-purpose yards, including 996 in kickoff and punt returns, which was second in the entire nation, earning Big 12 Offensive Newcomer of the Year. But his time at Oklahoma State came to an abrupt end in December 2014 when he was dismissed from the football and track teams after being arrested for domestic assault and battery, to which he pleaded guilty in 2015 and received 3 years of probation that was later expunged in 2018. He finished his college career at the University of West Alabama in 2015. Despite the off-field issues, the Kansas City Chiefs saw something in Hill that they believed was worth the risk. In the 2016 NFL Draft, they selected him in the 5th round, 165th overall, signing him to a 4-year, $258 million contract. He was initially slotted as the 4th wide receiver, a punt returner, and a kick returner. Nobody expected what came next. In his rookie season, Hill exploded onto the scene with 61 receptions for 593 yards and 6 touchdowns, earning first-team All-Pro honors as a punt returner and a Pro Bowl selection, the beginning of what would become 8 consecutive Pro Bowl appearances. And when Patrick Mahomes took over as the starting quarterback in 2018, the combination became something truly special. Over 6 seasons with the Chiefs from 2016 to 2021, Hill amassed 479 receptions for 6,630 yards and 56 receiving touchdowns, along with 719 rushing yards and 6 rushing scores. And his former teammates, they'll tell you that the numbers don't even begin to capture what it was like to be around him.
No, I will tell people he is one of the fastest beings I've ever seen.
That's what it was like playing alongside this man. Just pure, jaw-dropping speed that made everyone around him better.
He used to run our conditioning test, which is 20 half gases. Andy is old school, 20 half.
And here's where it gets even crazier. Hill wasn't just fast, he made it look effortless, like a game.
He would be running those backwards and laughing.
Running conditioning tests backwards, laughing while doing it. That's not normal. That's a different species of athlete right there.
I was like, he's like a little kid with superpowers.
A little kid with superpowers. And when you pair superpowers like that with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, what you get is one of the most unstoppable offensive trios in NFL history. Together, they helped the Chiefs reach 2 Super Bowls, and in Super Bowl Live in 2020, Hill led the team with 9 catches for 105 yards in a 31-20 victory over the San Francisco 49ers. That was the game where the Chiefs were down 10 points. With 7 minutes left, and Mahomes called Jet Chip Wasp, and everything changed. Hill himself told the story of what happened in that moment, and it's the kind of thing that shows you exactly what made that team special.
You can ask every receiver on that team, bro, like, and it's probably a story for after I'm done playing for a podcast or something.
He was keeping some of those Super Bowl secrets for later, but he did reveal one key detail about what went down on the sideline.
But Pat had threw like a quick slant to me or whatever, and he threw it behind me. And then I went up to him, I'm like, man, throw the ball, bro.
That exchange right there. Hill getting in Mahomes' face, telling him to put the ball on him. That's the competitive fire that fueled everything.
It's like, I am throwing you the ball. And we kind of had that moment where it's like back and forth. Like what 2 competitors do.
And from that moment of tension, of 2 alpha competitors pushing each other, came one of the greatest comebacks in Super Bowl history. That's what Tyreek Hill brought to Kansas City. That's what made him irreplaceable, or so everyone thought, because in March 2022, the unthinkable happened. Contract negotiations between Hill and the Chiefs stalled. He wanted to be the highest paid receiver in the NFL, influenced by Davante Adams' record-setting deal with the Las Vegas Raiders. The Chiefs couldn't agree to his terms, and on March 23, 2022, Kansas City traded Hill to the Miami Dolphins in exchange for a first-round pick, a second-round pick, 2 fourth-round picks, and a 6th-round pick. The Dolphins signed him to a 4-year, $120 million extension with $72.2 million guaranteed, making him the highest-paid receiver at the time. And just like that, the cheetah was gone. The trio was broken up, and every single person watching, thought the Chiefs had made a massive mistake. But Kansas City did something nobody expected. They used those picks to draft players like Trent McDuffie, Sky Moore, and Rashee Rice, rebuilt their roster, and won 2 more Super Bowls without Hill. 2 more championships. It was a masterclass in organizational flexibility. But while the Chiefs were hoisting Lombardi trophies, Hill was watching from the sidelines, and that ate at him in ways he couldn't even describe.
To your emotions to watch, like you left, and all of a sudden it seems like they're in the Super Bowl every year here.
And they are.
You could hear it in his voice, the regret, the longing.
I come to the Super Bowl every year, man, and it's tough for me. I tell my wife I'm not going to the Super Bowl.
Every year he went to the Super Bowl, not as a player, as a spectator. And every year it hurt.
I'm still going for the Chiefs. It's tough for me to go, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like just go to the game and just be in this environment and not playing in it.
So when asked the direct question, did you ever regret leaving? Hill didn't hesitate.
Great question, man. Always. I mean, you always have thoughts like that. I mean, I'm human.
Always. He always thought about it. And now, 4 years later, the universe might just be giving him a second chance. The fall in Miami and the door that opened. Now let's be clear about something. Tyreek Hill's time in Miami wasn't some disaster from start to finish. The man still balled out. In his first 2 seasons with the Dolphins, he was arguably the best receiver in the entire league. He led the NFL in receiving yards in 2022 with 1,710 yards, and then outdid himself in 2023 with a career-high 1,799 receiving yards and 13 touchdowns, earning 2 more Pro Bowls and All-Pro selections. He co-led the NFL in receiving touchdowns that year. The cheetah was still running. But football is a team sport, and while Hill was putting up individual numbers that belong in a museum, the Dolphins as a team couldn't get over the hump. They made the playoffs in 2022 and 2023, but couldn't advance past the wild card round. And for a guy who had tasted championship glory in Kansas City, who knew what it felt like to hold up the Lombardi trophy, that wasn't enough. It was never going to be enough. Then came 2024. His production dipped to 73 receptions for 959 yards and 6 touchdowns. And a reporter asked him the question that clearly got under his skin.
Is there any rhyme or reason you haven't caught a pass over 30 yards in a full year?
No pass over 30 yards in an entire year for the fastest man in football. Think about that for a second.
You trying to piss me off today?
No, I'm not trying to piss you off.
You could see the frustration building. The speed was still there, but something wasn't connecting.
I'm just trying to ask you what is going on, because we see the speed is there.
Yeah.
The speed was there, but the results weren't. And when asked if the throws were there, Hill gave the most honest, most telling answer he could.
But are the throws there?
I don't know, bro.
I don't know, bro. That's a guy who was watching his prime slip away in a situation that wasn't maximizing his talent, and deep down, he knew it. Despite all of this, Hill tried to stay positive heading into 2025. He talked about focusing on football and giving the best version of himself.
I told my dad, I said, I want to see what it looks like whenever I focus just on football, and I just focus on myself and family.
He was determined to prove that the cheetah still had it, that he could still be the dominant force everyone remembered.
Today was our conditioning test, and at 31 years old, I must say I haven't lost a step, so I'm feeling great.
But football has a cruel way of reminding you that nothing is guaranteed. In week 4 of the 2025 season, during a 27-21 win over the New York Jets, Hill suffered a dislocated left knee with multiple ligament tears, including an ACL tear, requiring season-ending surgery. Just like that, his season was over after only 4 games, managing just 21 catches for 265 yards and 1 touchdown. And as if the injury wasn't devastating enough, the Dolphins' season fell apart around him. Missing their franchise quarterback for significant time didn't help, and Hill had spoken about that pain before.
I would say for me, man, as a captain, you know, it was a tough season, man. It sucks, man, missing QB1, man.
Without Tua, without Hill, the Dolphins crumbled. And at the end of the 2024 regular season, after another year without playoffs, Hill had that now infamous moment where he let his emotions get the best of him.
This is my first time I haven't been in the playoffs, man, so I mean, for me, like I said, man, I just got to do what's best for me and my family, dog. If that's here or that's wherever the case may be, man.
And then the words that made every headline in sports.
I'm finna open that door for myself, dog. As I'm opening the door, like I'm out, bro.
I'm out, bro. 2 words that sent shockwaves through the NFL. But to Hill's credit, he walked those comments back not long after. Sitting down during Super Bowl week, he took full accountability.
I'm in a good space, man. I've had a conversation with my mom, had a conversation with my wife, and basically, like, as a father, you don't need to put yourself in a situation like that.
He wasn't done. He went further, explaining exactly why those comments were wrong.
It doesn't matter how you feel, you know what I'm saying? Like, be able to, man up, because at the end of the day, you are a leader of men, like you're a leader of this team.
And then the apology that showed real maturity.
So you got to know how to handle yourself in those moments. Right. Like, take accountability.
Right.
And I'm taking full accountability of what I said, man.
Hill even addressed the Dolphins organization directly, acknowledging everything they had done for him.
And like, I don't deserve to say anything like that.
Yeah.
Miami Dolphins, they paying me to play this.
Yeah, they've been good to you.
They've been very good to me.
But none of that mattered in the end. On February 16th, 2026, the Miami Dolphins released Tyreek Hill, saving approximately $22.8 million in cap space while designating it as a post-June 1st cut to spread the $28.2 million dead money hit. Hill's $51.1 million cap hit for 2026, with no guaranteed money remaining, made the decision a financial no-brainer for a team in full rebuild mode under new general manager Dan Sullivan. And just like that, for the first time in his entire career, the Cheetah was a free agent. No team, no contract, just a 31-year-old receiver coming off a major knee injury with a lot of questions and a whole lot of motivation to prove people wrong. Hill broke his silence shortly after the release, posting "The journey don't stop" and vowing a 2026 comeback. But where would he go? The answer, as it turns out, might have been obvious all along. The reunion everyone is waiting for. 2 days after the Dolphins released Tyreek Hill, something happened that set the internet on fire. On February 18th, 2026, Hill posted a Snapchat selfie from Kansas City, and social media posts showed him working out in the area. The same day, and this is where it gets really interesting, the Kansas City Chiefs restructured Patrick Mahomes' contract, converting $54.45 million into a signing bonus to create $43.56 million in cap space for 2026. The timing was not a coincidence. It couldn't have been. Former teammate Chris Jones didn't even try to be subtle about it. He publicly recruited Hill on social media, posting, "A cheetah, it's time." The buzz was everywhere. Analysts like Louis Riddick endorsed the reunion, noting the Chiefs' desperate need for a proven wide receiver after a 6-11 season in 2025 that was their worst in the Mahomes era. Betting odds from sportsbooks listed the Chiefs among the top favorites to sign him, and the narrative practically wrote itself. And you know what? When you listen to the people who actually played with Hill in Kansas City, a reunion makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah, I was just more so disappointed that they couldn't keep him, or they couldn't figure out something.
The disappointment when Hill left was real. Everyone who was part of that Chiefs organization felt it.
Oh, he fit. He was the scheme. It was like him, Pat, and Kelce. That was our offense.
He was the scheme. The whole offense was built around the connection between Hill, Mahomes, and Kelce. And when that was broken up, something was lost. Even the Super Bowl wins afterwards couldn't completely fill that void. Tyrann Mathieu, who left the Chiefs around the same time as Hill, has been one of the loudest voices calling for a reunion. And his perspective is fascinating because he saw both sides of it.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are gonna talk about KC. You know, essentially me and him left the Chiefs at the same time, right? And you know, I think when we left the Chiefs, people didn't feel the loss of Tyrann Mathieu and Tyreek Hill because they went to Super Bowl, right?
The Chiefs kept winning. That's the reality. But Mathieu makes an important point about what Hill could still bring to that team.
But even all that success they had, you could still sort of feel that, man, if they had Tyrann and Tyreek, right, they'd be just a little bit better. You know?
Even with all those championships, the Chiefs would have been even better with Hill. And now, after the worst season of the Mahomes era, that extra boost could be exactly what they need. Mathieu also made a brilliant point about Kansas City being the perfect environment for Hill at this stage of his career.
I think, you know, it's hard to get in trouble in Kansas City. Kansas City is not Miami.
Kansas City is not Miami. It's a place where Hill can focus, lock in, and get back to being the player everyone knows he can be.
And so maybe that's something he needs, right? To kind of get back to, you know, the Midwest and, you know, to play for a coach that believes you. They you know, you got everything in place for you to sort of succeed.
Everything in place to succeed. Coach Reid, Mahomes, Kelce, the system, the culture, it's all still there waiting for him. And Mathieu pointed out something else that could make Hill invaluable to Kansas City. Beyond just his speed and playmaking, the young receivers on that roster need a leader.
He may be
a big complimentary part to those.
Great, you know what I'm saying? He might be the person to sort of lift those guys' play, right? Because we talked about Xavier Worthy and a lot of these other kids that they just haven't figured it out yet.
Right.
Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, the young guys who haven't taken the next step yet. Hill could be the veteran presence that changes everything for them.
And one of the things that, like I said, impressed me the most with Tyreek was he was just like me. Like, he's a football player. He don't miss practice.
Hill doesn't miss practice. He takes all his reps. He shows up every day. That's the kind of example that transforms a young receiving corps.
He don't miss no games. And I think given what the Chiefs have sort of experienced the last 3 years at the wide receiver position.
Given how much the Chiefs have struggled at wide receiver since Hill left, this reunion could be the missing piece. Since 2022, Travis Kelce has shouldered 22.7% of the team's receiving yards, with Rashee Rice contributing just 10.2%. That's a massive gap that Hill could fill. Now, there are reasons for caution. Not everyone thinks this is the right move. Kansas City Star columnist Sam McDowell argued on February 19th that a reunion doesn't fit the Chiefs' needs, citing Hill's injury uncertainty and the team's shift toward youth and defense since 2022. Nick Wright, who was previously optimistic, expressed doubts about Hill's post-injury speed and fit in a rebuilt offense. There are also ongoing NFL investigations into 2025 domestic violence allegations from Hill's estranged wife, Cheetah, which could lead to a suspension under the personal conduct policy. And the competition for his services extends beyond Kansas City. The Denver Broncos lead betting odds at about 300, offering a fresh start. The Buffalo Bills could pair him with Josh Allen, and teams like the Baltimore Ravens and Los Angeles Chargers have also been mentioned. Analysts have speculated his market value could be around a 1-year, incentive-laden prove-it deal given his age and injury, possibly in the $10-15 million range. But here's the thing. When you listen to Hill talk about the Chiefs, when you hear what Kansas City means to him, when you see him walking the streets of that city just days after being released, you can feel which direction this is headed.
It's just a relationship, man, between those guys, man. Pat and Andy, though. Like, I feel like they have like a relationship outside of...
The relationship between Mahomes and Reid is different from anything else in football. Hill knows that. He experienced it firsthand.
What most quarterbacks and coaches don't have.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that special relationship created a culture that Hill has been chasing ever since he left. 3 years in Miami, and he never found it again.
Being able to coach him, you know, hard and coach all of us hard whenever I was there. So It's phenomenal, man.
Yeah.
Just seeing what those guys have built in Kansas City.
Crazy.
As of right now, no official signing has occurred. Hill remains a free agent. The NFL's tampering period opens March 9th, with official signings starting March 11th, which means we're still weeks away from anything being made official. But Hill's agent reports positive recovery progress, potentially putting him on track to be ready for training camp. Both Hill and Mahomes are recovering from 2025 ACL injuries, which could actually sync their rehabilitation timelines perfectly. If this reunion happens, and right now it feels more like a question of when than if, it would pair Hill with Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, and potentially a returning Travis Kelce, creating what FanDuel called an unstoppable roster. After the worst season of the Mahomes era, the Chiefs wouldn't just be back. They'd be sending a message to the entire league. The cheetah ran away from Kansas City once, and now, after everything he's been through, after the championships he watched from the stands, after the injury that almost ended his career, after being released by the team he gave 3 years to, after all of it, he's running back. Because sometimes in life, the place you left behind is the place you were always meant to be. And for Tyreek Hill, that place has always been Kansas City, with Patrick Mahomes, with Travis Kelce, with Andy Reid, where the cheetah first learned to fly. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, click on one of the boxes playing on your screen to watch more similar content.